Well, that's a good question because you and I talked, but I wasn't the best student in high school. My grade point average was 1 point something, I think, when I graduated. I was probably would be identified as a very active and attention deficit type of student. So I think my high school experiences have a lot to do with me then hopefully reaching out to other students that maybe are having trouble in school and not doing as good as what they probably could, that I can say, hey, I understand that situation, I've been there, but at the same time, if you want to move on like you do to become a journalist, you're going to need to probably do better than a 1 point something grade point average. You're going to probably need to take a number of classes that'll help prepare you to move on to that next level. So hopefully I'll be able to use my experiences and situations I went through to motivate students and to lead students that, hey, maybe you need to go in a different direction if you're going to get there.
Okay, thank you so much, and I'm so glad you won the Golden Apple Teacher
thank you,
Award.
I am too.
And thank you for joining us, so we'll see you next time. Hello and welcome to Educationally. Today I'm here with Candace Bond from Allen Park Elementary, who just won the Golden Apple Teachers. How are you today?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. What college did you attend and what did you get your degree in?
I earned my master's degree in elementary education at Florida Gulf Coast University.
Sounds good. I'm going there. So, yeah. Why did you choose Allen Park?
I actually went to the interview for the 4th grade position last year, and I had on 2 hats when I went on that interview. I had on the mom hat because I have a kindergartner starting next year, and I went as the teacher hat also because I want a school that fits well with what I'm looking for. I went in and was able to observe in several classrooms, and Mrs. Moore, the principal, we just clicked right off. So it just seemed like a good match for both mom's side of me and teacher side of me.
That's really cool. What inspired you to be a teacher?
I would have to say probably my 5th grade teacher. She was phenomenal. She did hands-on activities with us. She just encouraged us and did a lot of fun activities, and so I wanted to be able to do some of the same things. And then as I went on through middle and high school, I met my guidance counselor in middle school, and then she moved on to Cypress Lake High School with me, and so I would say those 2 people really inspired me to become a teacher.
How do you connect with your kids in the classroom?
At the beginning of the year, it's really important for me to be able to build that relationship, not only in the classroom, but outside the classroom, being able to go to some of their baseball games or their dance recitals or anything that they're involved in, so that I get to know just not only them at school, but also outside of the classroom and what motivates them outside of the classroom. What do they enjoy doing? And then once I have that, I'm able to motivate them in the classroom.
Why did you want to teach 4th grade?
4th grade, I've taught both 4th and 5th grade. I've been teaching for 9 years, and 4th grade, they're still so innocent and they're so fun. They have a great personality, and I just feel like my personality comes out when I'm around them, and so I think it's a great age to teach.
Okay. How did you feel when you received the Golden Apple?
Actually, I was on the floor working with a group of students on poetry when they came into my classroom. There were about, 60 people from the community came into the classroom, and they came in and they said, Mrs. Bond, and I didn't hear them because when we're working independently, or if I'm working in a group, kind of doing my own thing, and the students were working and they said, Mrs. Bond, and they couldn't find me, and I popped up and just total shock. I didn't even know how to respond, just shock. I covered my face, and I think the word OMG even came out.
Okay. What's your most memorable experience while teaching?
Most memorable experience would probably be, there's several, but probably just working with my colleagues and learning from them. I've worked with some phenomenal people, one of them, Jim Guffey, who you're probably going to interview later, and just learning from other people. And then with my students every year, just getting to know them and helping them through whatever they need, any challenges that they're facing.
Okay. Besides lecture, what methods of teaching do you use?
I see myself more as a facilitator. I try to allow my kids to use cooperative grouping, a lot of hands-on things, and the kids learn more from each other. I teach the skill and then I kind of cut them loose and allow them time to work together and learn from each other.
Okay, in what ways do you encourage creativity in your classroom?
Creativity is encouraged in my classroom through every activity that we do. I want them to kind of be outside of the box thinkers. There's not always one right answer, and so I encourage them to, I was an OM coach years ago, and so going through the Odyssey of the Mind, it kind of teaches you how to be creative, and so I use a lot of those strategies in my classroom.
Okay, how do you deal with students who are unwilling to work or learn?
If a student comes to my classroom and they're unwilling to learn, or not to learn, but to work, oftentimes I will try to find what motivates them. If computers motivate them, then I try to incorporate technology into the lessons. If baseball motivates them, then why not turn a math problem into a baseball math problem, just to get them to see that there's a connection there and they can be successful. So I would say in my classroom, they're not allowed to give up. We start that at the beginning of the year. You can't give up, and nothing is too difficult. We can always get through things together.
Okay, how do you plan your lesson plans?
I plan each day with, I want my kids to be excited about learning. So when they come into the classroom, I want them to have the same smile on their face when they leave the classroom. And so I try to do a lot of hands-on activities. I try to get them involved and up out of their seat. I don't want them just sitting and just lecture. I try to get them involved.
Okay, what projects do you do with your students?
A lot of hands-on projects. We actually just did a hot air balloon launch to incorporate scientific method. We did some shoebox activities where they did book reports and they created their own shoebox, and they were fantastic. So a lot of hands-on. We've done PowerPoint presentations. They're learning how to use Excel spreadsheets. So we're just all over the place with creativity and technology and the whole thing.
Sounds a lot of fun. What are you happiest about teaching?
It makes me happy when my kids are happy, when they're successful, when I see that or have that aha moment in my classroom. That makes me happy. It makes me happy when they are involved in the lesson and they're excited. That makes me happy.
How do you keep the fun in your classroom? How do you?
Whenever I see a downtime or a moment where I feel like they're just, I need to stretch or I need to get up, we always will do like a math rap, or we'll do something fun out of our seat to kind of get them motivated and back on track again.
How would you go on through a day? How would your day lesson plan go through? Tell me what problems you would do, or
Well, right now in math, we're working on lines of symmetry, and so a day would be me just introducing the lesson and then going into cooperative grouping and the students creating something to show that they understand lines of symmetry and make that real world connection. In science, they're finishing up their scientific method or their science fair projects using the scientific method. Social studies, we're learning about history of Florida, and writing, we're doing poetry. So we've got a lot of things going on, and a lot of times I will allow the students to select, if we have some free time, they can select A, B, or C if they want to read a book for AR, if they want to go into science and work on the scientific method, or if they want to use the computer for technology. So there's a lot of choices in my classroom, and we're able to accomplish a lot doing it that way.
Okay, what challenges do you face as a teacher?
I think oftentimes the most challenging thing is just sometimes tearing the wall down and getting the kids to open up to you, because maybe they haven't had a teacher that is as crazy as I am or outside of the box as I am. So just getting them to feel comfortable that creativity is okay, being creative is okay. There's not always one answer that I'm looking for.
Okay. When your kids leave to go to the next grade, how do you always feel?
Sad. I cry most of the time. I know this year I will definitely cry because I've really connected with a lot of my students in my classroom. So it's hard to think that I have to now hand these babies over to someone else as they move on to 5th grade.
That's so sweet. What were you like as a student?
As a student, I was very shy. I would not say that I was a student that I would look for in my classroom. I was the wallflower. I was very shy, stayed to myself, didn't really get involved in anything until I hit after high school, and then I became involved more.
Okay. How would you say Allen Park would be a great school for a student?
Well, Allen Park is an ability grouped school, so we ability group our students based on their needs and based on what level they are learning. And so when I put that mom hat on, that's kind of what I looked for. If my daughter needs an extra push in reading or is struggling in a certain area, then she'll be placed with students that are more at her ability. If she needs to be challenged, she'll be placed with students at that level. The faculty, the staff, the administration is phenomenal. Jenny Moore and Nicole Osterholm, anything that you need, they're right there on your side 100%. So just a great environment for learning.
Okay, so where do you plan to be from 10 years from now?
In 10 years, I will probably still be in the classroom, still rapping with my students, still shooting off hot air balloons, and probably adding some more fantastic things to my lessons.
Okay. If you could teach, what job would you want to do?
If I was not a teacher, that's a difficult question. I would probably go into physical therapy. That was my first thought when I selected a career, and then I realized that I really wanted to work with students, and I wanted to try to impact their lives, so I went into teaching.
Okay, and we have a couple questions from students. So, first question, what motivates you to be such a great teacher? From Daniela from Heights Elementary.
My students definitely motivate me to teach every day. The excitement that goes on in my classroom motivates me to make more challenging, more engaging lessons.
Okay, second question. Now since you have the Golden Apple Award, how are you going to make the schools of today better? From Joey from Cypress Lake Middle.
I think even before I received the Golden Apple, nothing in my classroom has changed. The excitement is definitely there. We're excited that I received the Golden Apple and I feel honored, but definitely hope that I continue to motivate my students and push them to their limit and challenge them each and every day.
Okay, sounds great. Last question. Since you won the Golden Apple, do you feel pressure to uphold the characteristics of Golden Apple teacher from a student from Riverdale High School?
I definitely don't feel pressure. The colleagues at Allen Park have been phenomenal. They have really encouraged me to go through the process, and sharing ideas with them have made me or put me where I am today. So I think that definitely there's not pressure, but I want to be successful in the classroom, and I want my students to be successful.
Okay, I'm so glad you won the Golden Apple Teacher Award, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.